Hey, whippersnappers, it's Tortimer the Great. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Minecraft Jurassic World Edition. Today I'm gonna be showing you a couple things I've been working on. Hopefully I'll get your opinions on some of that, and then we're gonna work on the new raptor area a little bit. I think I might have said last episode that we were gonna work on dragon stuff. But I'm still conceptualizing kind of what I want to do in there, and the raptor enclosure is going to be a smaller project, and it's going to be a more necessary one as we've got some raptors growing up, and I don't think they can get out of here because they climb on the same AI as like spiders do, and I think a spider would get stuck up under this lip. But as is, we've got a couple of little babies, Ash and Cinder, in here, and the dragons pretty much just chill, so they're fine where they're at for now. We'll get to them eventually. But yeah, so let's jump on Casper here. Coco's hanging out at the front of the park at the moment. We've got our village there. I did do. In fact, we'll stop and do that on our way out. So I did finally, and let me. Well, let's go this way. I finally got around to working on the Dilophosaur enclosure, and we'll take a look at that in a minute. What I want to do first, though, is I want to hatch a little Dilophosaur here, and I want to do it over in the plains area because the last one we hatched, I believe, was in the savannah there, and there is a couple of variants of Dilophosaur. I'm not sure. Again, the documentation on how to obtain the different variants is not real great, but my guess is that, in fact, let's do it this way. We're gonna dig down as opposed to building up because that'll take less time, especially with a shovel. Yeah, so I think that if we can hatch, because I think there's a green variant or something, I don't know. But there is a different variant of the Dilophosaur, and so I figure since we hatched one in a warm biome, that maybe the plains is where we need to be. So let's do this. Grab this little Dilophosaur egg, and this is obviously a fossils and archaeology Dilophosaur. I don't presently have DNA for JurassiCraft Dilophosaurs. I don't think we had a little bit of DNA that we then used for the last JurassiCraft Dilophosaur, but that ended up being another male. So he's been moved to the extra-dimensional holding area, and he'll pop back up at some point. But in terms of our enclosures here in the zoo portion of the park, definitely not what we're looking for there. We're hoping to get another female in there so Nedry can have a little girlfriend. Yeah, so I finally got around to working on the Dilophosaur enclosure, so I figure we'll hatch it. Ooh, it's taking a bit of time. I figure we'll hatch up this Dilophosaur here, and we'll be able to get stuff going there. We're very close, actually. Well, close-ish to moving out back to this portion of the park. We're getting pretty good progress on the front of the park, and it'll be a couple of weeks still, obviously. But we got some nice large swaths of land. Obviously, these you know, squares or whatever. I'm just spitballing. That doesn't mean anything. I do want to. There is a list of dinosaurs we're going to be putting back here, which we'll look at in a minute, probably again. But you know, we've got the iron farm back here. I do think I want to put some sort of. I think my main lab is going to end up back here, like moving the holding areas from. My main lab and breeding center is going to be back, I think, here outside the iron farm, and then we'll have some enclosures and stuff out here too. But since that's the spawn chunks, I think, you know, having babies in that area will make more sense than having them out in the desert where they're not going to be getting the chance to grow up as frequently. And then we've got this little thing here where we're going to be doing the security towers and stuff, which we'll have a couple of scattered around the park. Yeah, so we're getting close. Ooh, we gotta. Oh no! Take off! Take off, Casper! We just got you back. Let me land Casper a little bit out of the way here, and we'll come back and defend our Dilophosaur. I do have a couple of arrows, but I don't know if I've got enough to do this properly. There we go. At least I do have a decent sword now. Oh, he hatched. Okay. Well, that's unfortunate. I don't see any real difference there. Let's get through the night. Okay. Oh gosh. Casper, stay out of the party here, bud. Casper, no. You better not get yourself killed, Casper. I'm gonna be really upset with you. I think that's probably what ended up happening with Casper when he disappeared. As best as I can guess, because they do kind of leap in like wolves. Ooh, we got some arrows, that's good. Because they do kind of leap in like wolves like that. Yeah, this looks just like pickles, so that's a bit unfortunate, but that's okay. I think that they probably... I got hit by something at some point, and we were just close enough to him that he decided he was going to jump in and help, and then got out of range and got stuck out there or something. Yeah, I think that one's going to end up looking just like Pickle, which isn't terrible. That's fine. I don't think the variance of Dilophosaur is super huge, but we may save that Dilophosaur for another project and see if we can't hatch another one somewhere else. I've got to see if I can't figure out where we would need to hatch to get something like that going. But yeah, so let's head out here. We're gonna sit down again. Put Casper up here. Okay, and is Casper sitting? No. So I need a bone. There we go. All right, perfect. A lot of junk in the inventory here today. Let's clear this out. Well, we want the dirt probably, but let's get rid of all this stuff. Put our Dinopedia back. Put our shovel back. All right. OCD abated. Let's quickly run up and let's sleep in our tower here. Haven't done a ton of work in the visitor center since last time. Haven't really touched the museum at all. I need to do a little bit more work there. I did end up putting a couple of seating areas out on the balcony. Where's my bed? There we are. The one that kind of overlooks the front. Well, we'll take a look at it on our way out. But I did put a couple seating areas up there, which I think they work. It seems fitting that those would be out here. So kind of up here, just on this balcony, I was like, what should I do out here? And I figured that a couple of seating areas. This is a nice view. That maybe if people are down at the restaurant, they'll bring their food up here too, or something, and have a nice view. And it seemed like a good thing to put up in that area. So that's what we're gonna do. But yeah, I need to do a couple of little. See, I took a little damage in there. He went taken off. It's weird. It's all right, Casper. Relax, buddy. But yeah, so did a little bit of work. I'm gonna run over by the mammoths really quickly because I want to show you. As you guys can tell, I'm doing a little bit of testing with the bridge here, and I've got something with the mammoths I want to show you. So it ends up working out. But yeah, so I did a little bit of work over here in the mammoths. I think I've pretty much finished this enclosure at this point. And we're not going to really even go in here today, but I think it's looking pretty good. The snow kind of starts up top and kind of flows down a bit. The middle of the enclosure is pretty barren. But I did, I think it was Shane who recommended that I do it was Shane. It was Shane G. He was like, crazy idea. What if you did a frozen waterfall? And so I was like, you know what, that could actually be pretty cool. And so I got my my packed ice out. Hey Bane, how's it going, buddy? I got my packed ice out, and I kind of tried to mimic the pattern that water would take if it flowed. I've got a little crevice here that it's flowing out of, and try to mimic that. And so I think it ended up pretty good, looking pretty good. So we've got a frozen waterfall back there in the side of the mountain. And I think this enclosure is looking really cool. We'll have to get some more mammoths in there at some point, potentially. I'd love to get one of the albino. I think both mods have an albino variant, so that could be cool if we could get one of those. But I don't want to cram this enclosure in too much, just because it's not a huge enclosure for these giant beasts. So, but yeah, so mammoth enclosure is pretty much done at this point. And then I started playing. I'm not sure if I like it or not, or at least if I'm happy with it completely yet. But I started working on a potential bridge design. And so I've just kind of thrown that up there. We've got this, they're not even placed correctly. I just was kind of like doing it. I think this one would actually come over here and be on the land, like right there. And then this one would probably come closer to the land here. I don't know if we would do one in the middle or not, but they're definitely not placed accurately. But just for design's sake, I'm playing with that. I don't know that I like the orange peeking through, or at least the design that the orange is peeking through with on here. I'm using the orange because of, you know, all the other enclosures get, you know, their own color. And the plesiosaurs I'm doing the orange for. I don't like these posts either. We got a lot of work we got to do with this boardwalk eventually, but I think for now it's passable. For Locke and Nessie and Monster, they're doing good, and so I think we're doing okay for now. But yeah, so playing with the bridge design, not sure if I'm totally happy with it or not, but there it is. Kind of. I like the idea of a railing on it because you don't want guests going over. I mean, obviously you can go over, but I could also fix that, get a Carpenter block fence in or something, and do that instead of the glass pane. In fact, we might actually do that. I have to think about it. But yeah, so today I want to do a little bit of progress on. Hey, oh, she's getting big. I've been over here a lot. So we've got there's Starfire. And then, oh, yeah, Kiwi's back there. We gotta get some more compies. It's a big enclosure for such little dudes. Okay, so, and I'm gonna get yelled at because I'm gonna forget who it was. It might have been Shane again. I don't know. I mentioned last time because the AI of the raptors and the Deinonychus in the JurassiCraft mod, for whatever reason recently, I think it's recently, they have added the ability for these dinosaurs to climb like spiders, which means they can scale walls and escape if necessary, or if able. And so we needed to, now I have no confirmation that they would actually be able to escape this enclosure type, because, you know, you've got the overhang there. They would climb up this wall in theory and hit that overhang and not be able to get out. Would be my guess. Although they would be able to get out on the pillars, I guess. So that's I guess that's where the issue really comes in. They'd be able to climb up one of these and up and out. But that left us with, okay, so how do we adapt to that issue in order to keep these dinosaurs inside? And we've had some, you know, we've got a lot of enclosures that end up like this. And this enclosure needs a lot of work, just because, you know, it's a big open plains area. It doesn't even have any terrain interrupting it like a lot of these do, so it needs some definite work. Oh, and crap, we need to, before we jump into the Deinonychus, I want to quickly show you guys what I did with the Dilophosaur enclosure, because I actually finally got around to doing the Dilophosaurs. They were, Nedry's been around for a long time, and yet he's been sitting in a completely unadapted enclosure with him and Pickle have. So, finally got around to doing their enclosure up, so let's take a quick look at that, and then we'll run over and do the Deinonychus. I might have just said Deinonychus twice. I'm talking about the Dilophosaurs here. So let's head in here. Alright, so got the lighting in and all that. Hey, Pickle. Hey, cutie. Get out of the wall. But yeah, so Dilophosaurs mainly lived in, you know, I saw some conflicting things about where Dilophosaurs lived, I guess. And once I find some Podzol, I probably will end up bringing some Podzol in here too. But the best I could tell, they kind of lived in fern forests with, you know, water around and things like that. I saw some reports that said they lived in very marshy kind of areas. Other reports talked about the fern forests and things like that. So we kind of went with a combination. I've got this little, and I don't, obviously I don't know that realistically it makes sense, but I've got this little river that's fed by two tiny waterfalls. It just fits in the area here. So that's good. I got these trees, I got ferns everywhere, both fossils and archaeology ferns as well as Minecraft ferns. And then I kind of just did some, to make it feel, you know, I don't know, more foresty, I kind of just put in, kind of like I did in the Ankylosaurs, but a little more extreme here, We've got leaf blocks that are flowing around from the top. We got leaf, clusters on the ground. Excuse me, Nedry, and so I did a little bit of that. I'm actually very happy with this enclosure. I've got to find a good design, but the only thing I would consider adding into it at this point, I would kind of really like to get, build a kind of crashed Jeep in here just as an homage to the Dilophosaurus from Jurassic Park. Even if I maybe put it up on that hill or something, some sort of Jeep sort of design. But I don't want it to be so huge that it looks weird. I want it to be just kind of like a little detail thing. And so I've got to play around with the Carpenter blocks and see what I can do with that to make it look decent. But yeah, pretty happy with this. I actually saw Pickle eat from this the other day, so I guess she's doing that as well. But yeah, so this place is ready, which is why I hatched another Dilophosaur. I wanted to make sure that this was all ready for, or now that it is ready, we can start filling in some more inhabitants. On my Ark series, if you guys aren't watching Ark, it's a survival series. It's a lot of fun, and it deals a lot with dinosaurs as well, so if you're fans of dinosaurs, I would recommend checking out that series. But I've got a whole pack of Dilophosaurs, most of my dinosaurs that I've tamed on that server, or in that series. It is on a server, I guess, with the other time shotters and stuff. But it's a fun thing. I really have gotten to appreciate the Dilophosaurs over there. And so there we go. Okay, so now that we've shown you that, I meant to show you that on our way back from hatching that other one, but we got distracted. So we want to do a little bit of work here today on the Deinonychus enclosure. Because they can escape, I had to come up with something new, and I think I said last time, Coco's hanging out in here because this is where I've been working, I think I said last time that I was going to put in kind of like an atrium birdcage sort of thing to keep them in, and then people could maybe walk through there or something, or at least that's what I was initially planning to do. I don't know if I went into a lot of details on what I was thinking about doing last time or not. I can't remember at this point, but then somebody in the comments said, and I think it might have been Shane. If it wasn't, I apologize. But one of you guys had the idea, like, well, why don't you just try the Jurassic Park raptor enclosure? And I was like, well, I mean, there's really no reason I can't. We're going to be using atriums, like domes and stuff for the aviary, for like our pterodons and stuff. And so I was like, well, if we want to get another enclosure type in here, we can certainly do that. So I started fiddling around. And I've come up with a design that's not a complete copy of the Jurassic Park one, but is certainly inspired by it. And so let me grab some materials here, and we'll get going. Oh crap! I don't have my chisel. Well, I'll put the stuff in, and then I'll have to come back and tear it out. And I want this and this. Here we go. This enclosure is going to be it's going to be varied by this. Obviously, going to still retain some of the same elements, but what will happen is we're going to come up here, and there's kind of a walkway that goes around it, and we come up here, and so this is going to be. We'll put these in for now. I will have to tear these out because they're not. I forgot to grab my chisel, but I don't want to spend wasting more time on this episode running back to pick it up. So we're going to have iron bars here. People will be able to come up and look in. Contact Nexus learned how to use chests. That's probably less than ideal. Let me get my dirt out. There we go. And we gotta put in these stairs here. And so basically, like in the Jurassic Park one, you only could look down. You could only had the option to really look down from above, which we do retain that option here. But in addition to that, I also wanted to have, a basic front viewport here. So the walkway that comes up to this starts low in the front, and you can come here. And you can see, Coco's in there right now. So we'll say that Coco's a Deinonychus. You come up here, and you can see in there, and you can see, all the Deinonychus and all that, them doing their stuff. But then you also have the option of walking around. You know, you've got another window here to get another vantage point on them. But then you can also come up here, and up here is going to be. Let me grab. Got some slopes here, right? Yeah. Let's grab some of these slopes. So up here, in order to keep them in, because right now they'll just climb right out of this, but in order to keep them in, we're going to be using these Carpenter slopes. And let me get. Okay, we got the dirt on the bar. And so, as well as, you know, the walls here, we're going to be using these Carpenter slopes, and the nice part about these is we're going to be able to replicate something in, I really got to find a way to turn that off. We're going to be trying to replicate something from the movie that wouldn't necessarily be as easy to do attractively without the Carpenter blocks, so that's pretty cool. But essentially what we're going to be doing is... So we've got these slopes here, and we've got, so that gives us kind of a nice lip there. They're not getting through that, but we put in these iron bars, and so that kind of creates the same look. And then these are going to, this is actually going to go there, and then, I don't have any stone bricks on me. Let me grab some real quick, and I'll kind of show you what we're going to be doing all the way around. All these, where they're standing up, it's going to be kind of the same thing all the way around the edge. Let's grab this. Here we go. Alright, so that'll be this, and then this will be that. And then we'll have another slope in here. But then I think we'll probably have our redstone torches to indicate electrical current or whatever. But so that's going to be all the way around the edge, and again, there's going to be a slope in there. So we can do it. Drop in here real quick. Pop up. Grab a slope. Come on, let's do it. There we go. All right. So we'll pop that there. Oop. Oop. Whoa. That's kind of crazy. You shift and click, it gives you different Carpenter blocks without having to craft them. Interesting. There we go. So that's gonna kind of be the support that I'm gonna put on all of these posts here. Yes, Coco, I hear you, buddy. But yeah, so that's gonna be what all of those are, and then they'll have iron bars in between them. And then on the exterior here, so we're gonna be. I don't have any ender pearls, but let's, there we go. So that's gonna go all the way around. The corners are gonna be a little different, but essentially that's how we're going to kind of design it. It's gonna look, you know, you'll be able to look down through, kind of like, you know, that was really the only vantage point they had in the Jurassic Park movies. Oh hey, we got friends. Sorry folks, the park's not open yet. Please come back when we're open, under construction presently. So yeah, you get kind of that classic Jurassic Park vantage point down on the raptors. And then you can also, you know, it kind of wraps around on both sides, and you can look in at different vantage points, get my kind of classic, you know, zoo vantage point here as well. And then you've got, you know, the iron bars that go around. I probably will... you know, I'll put the employee access back here somewhere, because, you know, this whole, well, like I said, it's blocked off here because it goes into the mountain, but this whole thing, there's going to be, you know, space down under here, obviously, so we'll punch out this wall somewhere, and figure out some way for the employees to get access to that, because this walkway kind of blocks it, but, we'll get that figured out. That's not really the biggest of my worries. I definitely have a way to do it. I just have to figure out how I want to do it. So yeah, let me grab. So we've got some. So we need the Carpenter stairs. I need both of them, honestly. And then we need black stained clay and gray stained clay. And so the front of this, I was messing with different designs here. because I really, as I was building it, I was really trying to. I wanted to keep the same sort of block, you know, collection style. You know, I've got the stone brick and all of that, but I also wanted to. I didn't want to overuse it, and so like up here we're gonna have to build this walkway, and I tried using like the logs that we used for the other walkways. It just didn't look good. And I tried using, okay, we'll do it stone brick, but it just ended up being too much stone brick. So essentially, man, I really should have cleared this out before, huh? Yikes. Essentially what we're going to be doing is, alright. So we're going to do this there, and this here, and then we need to do, no, because we don't want to waste it, right? Of course, by not wanting to waste it. Alright, so we're going to do that, and that, and that, and that, and that. I hope this ends up working out. I think I got it put in correctly. Yes! Okay, perfect. Perfect. And then, so these are going to be, and this is kind of inspired by the original Jurassic Park design. The walkway that comes up to their design kind of has like these supports underneath it. It's not a full, you know, wall or whatever. And so I wanted to kind of mimic that a little bit. Let me put this away because we're done with those. I'm gonna put some dirt in here. We got light under there to save us from any zombies or whatever. And then I want to put some strut supports. Some strut supports in here. Going too fast. The Carpenter blocks are a little more finicky on positioning than normal. And then I want to put the black. So the black is kind of, the Deinonychus are all kind of shades of gray. There's a slightly brown one, but for the most part they're all kinds of shades of gray. And and so I wanted to make the black the color for this enclosure. And I wanted to kind of do these struts, and I was playing a lot with different resources that we could use, and it seemed to make the most sense to. I wanted, you know, these struts to be out here, but I wanted some sort of variation here. So I just grabbed. I've got the black clay on the outside, and I've got the gray clay, dark gray clay on the inside, just to give a little bit of variation there to the color we're using, and to kind of make these struts stand out a little bit more, but not be in your face. I tried putting like stone or something back there, and it really just didn't work. It was too in your face, and there's not a lot of great, you know, variation on those in the game. But yeah, so this walkway is here, and so instead, because using stone again was going to be too much, I decided I was going to use the color, because, you know, we kind of have the color front and center on all these. This color just happens to be black, but you know, so we come up here, we've got the black on both sides of the walkway here. You come at it, and obviously this is gonna be black as well, and we actually will have, you know, that there, and that'll give us, you know, a bit of a walkway on that side as well. But yeah, so you come up here and you've got kind of this. Unique in the park, at least, kind of set up here with the walkway, and then you come up here, and again, this is going to continue. So it's going to be a lot of clay. I'm going to have to probably collect more, but it brings it up here, and then it'll kind of stair step along with this walkway through to the back. And this will look better once I get all of the front stuff in, as well as the top stuff, because it'll make this seem a little taller. Because right now this feels a little bit imposing. But as this enclosure gets taller, I think it'll be better. So yeah, that's kind of the idea we've got going for this. And then obviously inside we'll retrofit it with you know, I haven't done that on either of these yet. These will be next on the list. Yeah, so we've got we'll retrofit it to make sure that it works for the Deinonychus, and we'll put in trees and whatever. I gotta look up you know, exactly what kind of environment the Deinonychus lived in, yeah, Yeah, so decided on, I started putting in some actual finalization on the Carno enclosure here. I think I just had wool last time, and so I've got the pink clay in. Carlisle has a little hint of pink on his back, and I think the female, well, the common colors between the male and female are actually like yellow and or cyan, but I've got so much yellow and or cyan in the front of this park already that I figured I'd pull out that pink from Carlisle and use that instead. And I like it. Especially with, you know, we've got the magenta over here, the green, the black. I figured the pink would be a nice standout color. And we're not really using it in any of these two builds, which are a ton of clay. So it seemed to work out. It seemed to work out, and we'll probably sometime soon, and or I'll do it off camera, work on the Carno enclosure, getting the walls up and stuff. That's real boring, so I'll probably do it off camera. And then we'll probably work soon on because we gotta start retrofitting some of these, you know. Trikes may just live in planes, but we got to make sure that this is the right enclosure for the trikes, and we got to do others. I mean, even if they just live in planes, we got to do something here, otherwise it's going to be so boring. And same with the compies and the Deinonychus. But yeah, so I'm going to work on the Deinonychus enclosure, and I'll bring you guys back next week. Well, you guys will come back next week and see the progress that we've made. I'm going to call it for today. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. We've got a lot of stuff going. Let me know if you guys have any thoughts on the bridge. I know you didn't get a really good long look at it necessarily, but and you may just not really have a vision for it at all. But if you have an opinion on what this is looking like, obviously this is just, I was just playing around. So if you've got an idea, like, well, these should be spaced. I mean, yeah, I get that. We're gonna be doing some of that. But if you guys have got ideas, I probably will also try and work some cobble into this a little bit, just because it's so much stone brick, and those two textures tend to go together pretty well. And or just like smooth stone, kind of like I did, let's set down for a second, Coco, over here. So we've got, you know, the stone brick and then just smooth stone put in there. The textures go together so well, and it helps to break up the texture of the stone brick pretty nicely. And we can also potentially, I gotta check on if in 1.7 we're actually able to craft mossy and or cracked stone brick. Oh, it's been such a long time. So we'll have to play around with that and see if that's a possibility too. We can use some of that in some of these stone brick texture, because we got a lot of stone brick popping up now, and so it'd be nice if we could break that up somehow. And the smooth stone would be a good option. We've got our silk touch pick, we can do that, and or you know, we can try putting some cobble in places as well. But yeah, I think that's going to be it for today, guys. Next time, I think I really am going to try and nail down what I want to do. But well, we'll get back on Coco. Coco hasn't disappointed us recently. I don't mean that, Casper. Because honestly, I'm pretty sure Casper probably disappeared because he was attempting to save my life at some point. So I don't want to put that on him. But I want to figure out what my vision is. I think this epic kind of area is going to end up being kind of the dragon lair, and so I've got to figure out exactly how I want to do that. I do want to have it open to the public, but I've got to figure out how I want that to be. I want to put caves in. We're going to have walkways kind of spanning all around here, sort of thing. So we'll figure that out, but probably we'll start making some progress on that next week, because I know you guys are pretty excited about that. So we'll get going on that. But yeah, the front of the park's really coming together. Pretty excited about the progress we're making. You know, once we get this stuff, the visitor center, I'm calling pretty much done. I've got some detail work to do in there, but for the most part, we're not going to be working on the visitor center anymore together. It's pretty much in place. So the visitor center is basically done, which leaves us open for, you know, I like to shake up, you know, enclosure projects. God, I really love this mammoth enclosure. From up here, it just looks so good with the frozen waterfall and all the snow on the trees and everything. It's looking really nice. I think it's still, or no, I've got the back door for that place. You know, like to shake up enclosure stuff with other kinds of things. And one of those, you know, we've got I think we're going to be putting a hotel up on this little mountain. Compy learned how to use chess. I think we're going to be putting a hotel up on this mountain, which we might get started on at some point. We might take a jump back in the back of the park a little bit to kind of get out of this area for a little while and work on maybe that security tower or do some stuff back there. Maybe work on the lab. I don't know. Although we worked on the visitor center lab not too long ago. Anyway, lots of exciting things still to do in this park. Lots of exciting things. We've got, you know, this is just, you know, one of many sections of the park. It's a very full section. We've got lots of stuff going on in here, but you know, we've got this little section back here that kind of ties in. We've got to figure out what to do with this green space here at some point. But then we've got this back section of the park. I want to do a section over here, kind of in the desert area. Maybe we can hatch some more aquatic creatures, maybe to put in. So I think some of these lakes would be good for some of those guys. We gotta do the underwater viewing area for this guy. Although that'll probably be really annoying, clearing out water and stuff. So I might not do that on camera, but I'll certainly show it to you guys. So much stuff to do just in the zoo portion, and then like I mentioned over here, kind of I'm gonna carve this out to be kind of an island. Just bring one of these rivers across and kind of do some terraforming there. But on top of this plateau, we're gonna be building the battle arena. Which we may start at some point, now that we're getting some of the main things, and you know, get the opening, the gate and the visitor center is basically done. We're getting some good enclosures in here. We could maybe take a break from the park at some point in the coming weeks and start thinking about the battle arena sort of deal. But that's going to be a huge project. That's going to take a long time. So we'll do that at some point. But don't expect that to be done anytime soon. And we don't have the DNA of the dinosaurs to really make that work at present anyway. We might have to do another digging episode coming up. But yeah, so a lot of stuff going on here, and I'm excited about where we're going with it. I love this series so much. So I'm hoping you guys will continue to keep watching, and you guys seem to enjoy it as well. So that's awesome for me. And I will bring you guys back next week when we're working on something. I don't know, dragon stuff probably, but who knows? Who knows? And I'll show you guys the finished Deinonychus enclosure and some other stuff as well. So anyway, I've been Tortimer the Grain. You guys have been great. Make sure those likes, comments, subscriptions for me, guys. Likes really do help a lot with you know, you guys hear YouTubers say this all the time, but if people don't ask, generally people don't do it. But it really does help with getting search results, and that means more viewers and bigger communities and things like that, which is always awesome. Just make sure you guys hit that like button. It's real quick and easy for you, so I appreciate when you guys do that. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Tortimer the Grain. You guys have been great. Have a good one.